Grab your cup. If you experience stress and anxiety, a significant amount of stress and anxiety anywhere in your life, it could be in your home, with the people that you live with, it might be at your job, it might be out in social situations, it might be around your body and your health. If you're experiencing a state of constant stress and anxiety, this is really important. I want you to listen to this whole thing because that's not the way we're supposed to live, constantly stressed. What I want you to know, bottom line, even if you don't listen to anything after this, is that you're not broken. You're not broken. There's not something wrong with you or your nervous system or your brain. You're not broken. You have responded, learned how to respond very normally to some abnormal situations, whatever they might be. I don't know about in your life, but if you continue to listen to this, I want you to think about, well, how does that apply to my life? So here's a metaphor that I want to share with you, and then we'll dig into you. The metaphor is an acorn growing into an oak tree. So an acorn has everything that it needs to grow into a strong and sturdy oak tree. Everything inside that acorn is already there. All we have to do is give it the right conditions, the right environment. When we do that, the acorn knows what to do and it becomes a really great oak tree. So what are the things that an acorn needs? It needs the right amount of sun. Not too much sun so that it burns, or too little sun so it doesn't get its energy and its nutrients from the sun. An acorn needs the right amount of water, right? If it gets too much water, it'll get flooded. If it gets not enough water, it dries up. An acorn needs very specific nutrients in the soil. I don't know what those are, but whether it's, phosphorus, magnesium, whatever an acorn might need in the soil needs to be there. If we give it those conditions, that acorn knows what to do. It will grow up to a really great, strong, and sturdy oak tree and live for a long time. Human beings also need certain conditions when they're a little acorn, when we are very small children. If we are given the right conditions, we grow up into a really healthy, happy, great functioning adult, which means not living in stress and anxiety all the time. That's not healthy and happy. That's not how we're supposed to live. So what are the conditions that a human being child needs, just like the acorn? Well, first and foremost, a human being child needs to have safety. Safety in emotional safety, mental safety, physical safety. So you need to be growing up when you're really little in an environment where you have plenty to eat, where you can sleep and you feel loved, that when you go to sleep, you're not worried, you're not hearing people argue, your emotions are allowed to be expressed. When you get upset, people care, they ask you, they give you great examples of how to express emotions appropriately. So that's safety. What else do human being children need? We need to know that we are loved unconditionally. So if we are not getting the grown-ups in the house attention, if we feel like we need to be doing things to bring home accomplishments in order to feel loved, if we think we need to take care of the other people or to make sure we don't rock the boat, then we feel loved. We're not learning that we are loved unconditionally just for who we are. Just because we are a child in that household, we're loved unconditionally. That's what we need. That would be normal growth for a human being child. When we don't have that, it's really an abnormal situation that we have to learn to adapt to. So that's what I want you to get is like, oh, I just learned how to adapt to the things that I had or didn't have. Just like an acorn will either grow or not grow based on the things that it has or doesn't have. What else do we need besides safety, being loved unconditionally? We need to feel like we matter, like we are important. We have some significance, even when we're 3 years old or 5 years old. We need to get the message. What you think and feel and what's important to you does matter. Doesn't mean you run the household because you're the child, but it does mean I will listen to you and I will validate how you're thinking and I'm interested in who you are. We also need to learn appropriate boundaries. That means boundaries for other people, what they are allowed to do and not allowed to do, boundaries for ourselves, what we can take on, what we don't want to take on, how to say yes and no to ourselves so that we are accomplishing things. So boundaries. We also need to be nurtured to have some autonomy, to learn that and trust that we are the authority in our lives. We are the ones that make a decision. So we learn autonomy and how to trust yourself. When those needs are met, just like the acorn, we grow into a healthy and happy adult that doesn't live in stress and anxiety all the time, that isn't triggered by different situations and people, that can't go to sleep at night and is bringing work home and has no time for themselves and finds themselves in relationship patterns over and over and over that are toxic and unfulfilling and make them sad and have depression. All of those things, while part of our human experience, they're not normal. So just because it happens a lot doesn't mean it's the normal way to be. And I think that's really a dangerous thing that happens to people is they look around, they go, everybody's stressed. That's because most people, when they are the little acorn, are not getting all of the things that they need to learn how to live not in stress, to learn how to live connected and happy and at peace and at joy. Enjoy. So if that's you, what you need to do is create that environment for yourself now as an adult. We call that healing the wounds from your past, if you want to call it that. I also call it growing into who you were meant to be, or growing into returning to the truth of you. Because just like the acorn, it was all in there, and it is all in there. You've just learned a different way to cope to abnormal situations. Abnormal, you didn't get what you needed, and so you had to figure out some other ways to grow. So when we look at it that way, you can see that you're not broken. And I hope that you can see I can actually shift all of that. I'm a functioning adult now. I can decide to take on some other things. I can decide to do what it takes to heal those old patterns, to complete that past so that I have a different life experience. If you do, that's the work that I do with clients. I would love to talk with you, myself or someone on my team, to have a conversation with you, because getting out of stress and anxiety changes everything. It changes the way you feel about yourself. It changes your health. It changes how you show up in your relationships. It changes whether you even keep some relationships in your life or how you learn to foster healthy relationships. It changes the work that you take on, so you're actually having a balance between appropriate amount of work and an appropriate amount of rest and fun and joy. So if that's you, put chat in the comments and I will send you the link for a free conversation. Okay? All right. I look forward to speaking to you. Have a great rest of your day.